Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pod Pale Basket here with myself, David Jones, on the Basketball Wales YouTube channel. Today I'm sitting down with none other than the interim CEO himself, Gavin Williams. We're here to talk about everything that's going on with the development of the sport here in Wales, the Four Nation tournaments that's just been on, the junior NBA leagues that's going on everywhere, the Basketball Wales National League. We've got so much to cover here with you in this podcast, so make sure to stay through right until the end. Hit that like and that subscribe button so you never miss another podcast here with Basketball Wales. Okay, so yes, we are back with the Pod Pale Basket here at the Basketball Wales YouTube channel. I'm joined by none other than the CEO himself, Gav Williams. Gav, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm really looking forward to getting into some good topics and having a chat about everything exciting that's going on in Basketball Wales.
Absolutely, there's so much going on. The sport seems to be coming on leaps and bounds, but basically at the base of it, how does it feel to no longer be a volunteer CEO?
It's very strange. Having left the job that I've done for the last, I think, 12 years. Wow. With my family and the family business, but it was the right time. We, as a family, we decided to move on and go in different directions, and the opportunity to work full time with Basketball Wales was just a bit of a no-brainer, really, and absolutely relishing the challenge.
Yeah, it's got to be a dream, right? You've got to focus on basketball every day.
Yeah, of course, yeah. It does come with its challenges. Obviously, the basketball, as we know it, is there's the sport, the referee, the playing is one thing, but now a lot more focus on the administration side of it, the governance, the finance. So yeah, it's challenging, but yeah, exciting.
I bet you've got loads of plans for the long term, but for the short term, what can people expect to be coming up? What's changing?
What's changing? So, very exciting times. Obviously, we've announced a new chairman. So, Mr. Gavin Williams is joining us. Excellent guy, very good caliber sort of pedigree with his industry in BBC. So that's very exciting. We've also got some new board members joining our team on the board, which will be announced very shortly. I'll keep it for now. And the main, one of the biggest things we're focusing on at the moment, obviously, is our strategy, the vision for basketball over the next 4 or 5 year period. So we had a meeting this week, a board meeting this week, where we started to sort of think about, what does Basketball Wales offer to the basketball public? What can we do to enhance the experience? How can we get more people playing the game that we know are playing, but perhaps aren't on our radar, aren't on our database?
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so as a basketball community in Wales, saying that I'm a part of it feels kind of crazy to me after so many years of wanting to be. But it's felt as if in this just last season, it's come on so much. But what are the things that we need to do better?
What can we do better? You're right. I think over the last 12 or maybe even 2 years, we've had a lot of growth in a number of different areas. The junior NBA program, which we'll chat about a bit more later on, I'm sure, that's been amazing. The introduction of the BWNL, hosting the Four Nations events with the national. These are all things that we've sort of done and has taken Basketball Wales up to another sort of level in terms of the things we put on and how well we do it, especially with volunteers. But in terms of what's coming up and how we can look to improve, I think getting our strategy developed, publishing that so that the whole basketball community can engage in it. I think that's something that's very important for us, and so that's definitely the next 12-month focus for sure.
Incredible. So we've got lots of older talent and lots of people who are coming through in their mid-20s to early 20s, but I think we've all kind of said that young players are what we really need to focus on. So things like junior NBA and most recently smaller ballers. How much of an aid is that going to be to young people getting involved in basketball? Yeah,
so smaller ballers is the brainchild of Lee Coulson, our mini basketball director. It's his passion about developing young players, bringing them through the systems, and getting basketball into areas, especially in Wales, where at the moment we are lacking some clubs.
Right.
Obviously, I think we have approximately 50 clubs in Wales. A lot of them are central to sort of South Wales and North Wales, and we've got this big area in the middle in sort of Ceredigion, Powys, Mid Wales, where
Powys is huge. You should have a couple of clubs. Really.
Yeah, we don't have that many clubs. So smaller ballers is a great way for parents of young children who say, "Oh, Dad and Mum, I want to play basketball." Right, there's no club locally. Smaller ballers, they can go onto our Smaller Ballers website. They can order this amazing resource pack, which is, I've got one for my 2 kids, and it's not expensive. It's very cheap, and then through that pack, then they get they get a kit, they get a basketball, they get all the things they need to start playing. But they also get a dedicated website where they can learn skills and drills so that they can do some stuff initially at home or in the back garden. And then hopefully from there then progress to a club.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing that may be lacking, I think, with the general public. I know a lot of people in my family, like for me, when I was wanting to get into basketball when I was 11, 12, I was shooting in a park with a Tesco bag with a hole through the bottom as a net. I think that's the thing. People just don't have the amenities. People can go with the football just in the grass and have a kick about, but it's those little things that kind of push people towards the sport a bit more.
It is, yeah. I mean, having the resources. We're doing quite a lot at the moment to try and develop the outdoor courts in Wales.
There's one in Swansea. Looks amazing.
Yeah, that's last year's project, which was really good. It came from a capital investment grant from Sport Wales, so very thankful for the investment they made into Basketball Wales for us to develop that court and a couple of others as well. If we can provide facilities that are easy to get to, the nets are there, the hoops are of a quality that don't put people off, like the Muga ones where you've got the ring in the ring.
Everyone's played with them.
Oh, I know. They're not ideal for sort of shooting. But yeah, I think long term, getting more courts that are accessible and of a quality where people have a good experience, that's going to be beneficial for us.
Absolutely. So you mentioned it a bit previously. Let's just get straight into it. Junior NBA seems to have gone off without a hitch this year. It was absolutely fantastic. I've got the chance to be a part of the draft day and then the Cardiff one. It was obviously up in Bangor as well. How important is Junior NBA to Basketball Wales?
Well, Junior NBA is huge. It's a global brand. You know, everyone knows the NBA. If you mention basketball, everyone knows NBA.
That's why I got bags in my eyes.
You're watching the playoffs.
Man.
So it's important that the Junior NBA in our sort of long-term strategy for bringing the game to schools that maybe don't engage already with basketball.
Right, well, it's not in the curriculum kind of thing,
Yeah, so perhaps they're not in the schools competition, but the actual Junior NBA brand brings extra schools to us that wouldn't have.
Widens the net.
Yeah, it widens the net for sure, yeah. So long term, it's part of our strategy. It started off last year with just the Junior NBA event, which was a co-ed event mixing boys and girls.
Yes.
Went really well. This year we're expanding it to Junior NBA, which is for the boys, and then Junior WNBA for the girls.
Fantastic.
So we're really proud and excited for the event, which is going to take place in June, where we're going to have 12 schools representing 12 Junior WNBA teams.
Wow, okay.
And that's going to be taking place in Aberystwyth, in the heart of Wales,
Yeah, Aberystwyth is a great spot for basketball. I saw on the draft day, the big gym that they've got there in the uni. It's great, isn't it? But a little bit more about you then, Gav. So people might know you as the new CEO, people might have seen your face or seen you reffing at Archers or whatever, but about you a bit personally, how did you get into basketball?
Good question. So my sort of first introduction to basketball was in secondary school.
Right.
We had a PE teacher, his name was Chris Price. I keep in touch with him even to today.
Oh yeah, of course.
Had a big influence on me in terms of, I suppose, my initial career. I'm a teacher by trade, a PE teacher.
Yeah.
But we started playing in a school in Ponta del Ice. 7 or 8 of us get together, and he was very much of the American sports, basketball. We played a lot of softball.
Right, okay.
So that was the first introduction, really.
Interesting.
And carried on playing. Joined a club in Swansea, Dylan's Bookmen, which is now Swansea Storm, which is a club I'm involved in.
Yeah.
Then I got into refereeing.
Okay, how did that come about?
Probably through the teaching, really, and in terms of being a PE teacher, you've always
you
got
are
to
refereeing, right?
You're refereeing games, you're involved,
yeah.
you're sort of looking after the football, the rugby, and then the basketball refereeing just came when I came back from London, back to Swansea. There was a lack of referees, and I thought, you know what, I could blow a whistle through my job. Let's get into the sport that way, and and the rest then is history. I went up through the ranks, through the Welsh League, the Basketball England National League. Yeah. Then I got into the BBL group, and finally got my international license as a FIBA referee.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah.
There's lots of opportunities now for referees and officials in general to get involved in the game, right?
100%, yeah. I mean, I think every sport is having a problem at the moment trying to get and recruit and retain referees. You know, we're in Wales, we're very good at putting on the referee courses, getting good numbers, 25, 30 people.
But it's keeping them.
It's getting them involved. And that's the thing, I think, me and my colleague, Dan Cox, who looks after the officiating within Basketball Wales, you know, that's part of our strategy for the next 5 years, is to make sure we recruit and retain as many of these referees as we can. Otherwise,
Interesting.
without the referees or table officials, we're not going to have a game, or we certainly won't have a game that's
yeah, up to
of an orderly
standard.
fashion.
Yeah. Well, I know that football and the FAW have had an awful lot of success by trying to curtail players into referees rather than people outside of the sport into referees, rather than just coaching.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to be something that you're going to target as well, former players?
Yeah, for sure, because these former players who perhaps, come to the end of their playing careers.
Yeah.
Not that we want them to stop, because we want to develop the masters program, so
Okay,
that over
interesting.
40s keep playing.
Right.
We want to do a little bit more with walking basketball as well.
Yeah. Interesting.
In our strategy. So, but these players who maybe are leaving the elite or top level of their game, they have so much to offer. They know the game. They've played for many years. Perhaps they know all the old tricks
Yeah, of
to look
course.
out for.
Yeah,
So it's definitely something about keeping these players who may not want to play at the highest level. Try and get them to pick up a whistle and stay in the game.
Yeah, well, interesting you just said about playing the tricks and all that stuff. As a referee yourself, do you think it's better when refs kind of let the game go, let it flow at its own rate, or do you like it when people go to the whistle, to the book, to the letter of the law?
No. I mean, I think for young referees starting off, I think it's important that, keep control of the game, call the obvious stuff, keep control of those, especially maybe junior games where as referees we're also teaching the game as well. So we're trying to teach them,
of course.
actually that's a travel because you lifted your pivot foot, or it's a double dribble because you put two hands on the ball.
Yeah.
But I think as you go through the higher levels, I think, especially when it's basketball's an event, when you've got a crowd, you've got spectators, you want to try and let the game flow.
Yeah, of course.
But you've got to balance that with game flow and game control, because sometimes a game can quickly get out of hand if you're not on top of things. But for me personally, I like to talk to players. I like to make sure that I have that communication with them so that they can come and talk to me if they think, Gav, you might have got something wrong there. But game flow is important for me, definitely.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people see that, and I think it's something that I've noticed more as I've commentated more, is that players and coaches having a conversation with the referee seems to be a lot more apparent in basketball maybe than other sports, and I think people get that confused. People assume that he's having a go at the referee, or the referee's not going to like that, he's questioning his call, but it's actually good to have that kind of conversation flowing between coaches, players and referees, right?
Yeah, they're a big part of the game. The coaches, the refs and the players are all the three things that make up a game, and if you've got that sort of, if you put a barrier up straight away for a player when he asks you a question, the rest of the game isn't going to go that well, because you're going to have that conflict. And I think a lot at the higher level with refereeing is managing conflict, is managing those sort of tensions between players and coaches, or coaches and referees. Okay. So it comes with experience.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Like you say, if you're open to, and you have to sometimes accept that, actually I made a mistake there, and I will openly tell a player if I've made a mistake, and then 2 plays later I go, that was tough. After a timeout, I'll go and say, look, I may have got that wrong, and most of the time players appreciate that and go, thank you very much.
Maybe in the NBA playoffs, it's a different story. This is slightly different.
100%.
Of course. So, being a ref and now being a CEO, do you think that staying connected to the live sport, the actual action of the sport, is going to be a good thing that can help you in the boardroom kind of scenarios?
Yeah, I definitely want to make sure that I stay connected to the game, and for sure I am, because I'm involved in a very successful club in Swansea that's got a good program from under 8s through to senior men and women, and a wheelchair team. Yeah. I think it's important that I'm visible within the Welsh community, and there's no better way of doing that by going to a game and refereeing and meeting the new players coming through, the parents.
Being a face.
That people can see. So I'm definitely not going to be taking any step back from the stuff I've been doing for the last 10 or 11 years within Basketball Wales.
So I can still see you at Archers.
100%. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, amazing. So we've recently had the schools tournament come to an end. How important is it for basketball to stay kind of connected with that school system? Because I think especially in Wales, we see with rugby how well they do at getting people through school and then through university and then into professional clubs.
Yeah, the schools, again, the junior NBA schools is sort of a partnership that we want to keep developing, and Gavin Lewis, our schools director, has done an amazing job the last 2 years in terms of getting more schools to sign up to the competition. He'll have the stats better than me, but definitely he's increased it year on year. We've just come to the end of our championship, which was in Bangor University. A great facility that we use quite a lot now. They've got the 2 courts. It's an amazing facility. Long way to go from the south.
It is.
But like I say, Gav's plan is to sort of alternate it year on year. So I think next year we'll be in Cardiff. So
that's fab.
But no, the schools for us, for most people, is perhaps their first introduction to basketball.
Okay.
So yeah, we want to develop the relationships with schools, with teachers, to try and encourage them to do more basketball in curriculum time, because it's a sort of sport that we know through the school sports survey that kids want to play more.
Absolutely, second most, isn't it?
So I think it came, the second most passed underneath football, in terms of the amount of kids that said they want to play and actually are playing.
That's unbelievable.
So the schools is key for us, and anything we can do to develop relationships with the teachers, if it means more courses or some CPD, we're open to that, and that'll be again part of the strategy.
Okay, cool. So you mentioned the BWNL, which obviously went off this year. How do you feel it went, and any plans for changes for next year?
So the Basketball Wales National League is, I think it's in its second year now, just come to an end. Again, that's another sort of moving part that's growing year on year within the sport, with Basketball Wales. How it went this year, it culminated in a great finals day up in Ellesmere Port. Actually, we struggled to get a facility in Wrexham.
It's a bit weird, isn't it?
So we had to go across the border, but nevertheless, the facility we used was great. They were very accommodating.
Cheshire Phoenix play there.
Cheshire Phoenix play there. I go there quite a lot to referee those games, so I know the venue well. No, it was really good. Two great finals, the plate and the main BWNL final.
Trophy,
the plans for sort of moving forward, James Morgans, who runs that sort of his committee, he's a great guy, doing a lot of work to develop this national league. We definitely want to expand it to try and have a women's Basketball Wales National League. That'll be the next logical step for us. And also then maybe we can look to sort of come down into the under-18s, into the junior ranks, of having a truly Welsh junior national league.
That would be fab, because then that could kind of funnel into the seniors as well.
Yeah, and then there'll be that progression then. So that, and again, if we can get teams used to travelling North, South Wales, Mid Wales, West Wales, you know, if they've been doing that from under 16s and under 18s, when it comes then to seniors, it's like, we've done this for 4 years. So travelling from Cardiff to Wrexham or Bangor or wherever the teams may be, it's normal.
So obviously I think people kind of focus on BBL and WBBL here at home, but is the plan to try and make the Basketball Wales National League the league for basketball here in Wales?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we want to have a national league that raises the standard of basketball across Wales. We want to try and make sure that the teams competing in it are competing in great venues, with 3 referees in terms of the management of the games.
You need that.
Table officials, we want to introduce statisticians, so that we have a bank of statistics for the players that play in it.
As a commentator, I need that.
I need that. Otherwise you're just looking at a name and a number.
But trying to count field goals is really tough. The live stats.
We're looking at we're talking to a few companies at the moment about how we can perhaps introduce live stats into and the scoring through using iPad, using technology, instead of going through traditional scorebook. So exciting times really. But we definitely want a national league that we can all get around, be proud of, and hopefully market and brand.
It's interesting. So that was going to be my next question about marketing the league. How do we make sure that support is there? Does that come from, like we were saying earlier, like the proper facilities, outdoor facilities, get people enjoying basketball, and then hoping they look for a league? Or is there a way that we can make sure everybody knows about the Basketball Wales National League?
I think the social media and everything around the league is getting, again, from where it was in year 1 to year 2, and I'm sure year 3 will be better again. I think the guys who were involved in that, the commercial and the branding of the BWNL, do a really great job.
Absolutely.
The videos, the editing, the graphics, all these things add to show that the league is trying to go in a positive direction. And I think if we can keep going that way, we can then start asking the question of corporates and potential partners in Wales, would you want to get behind this league in order for us to grow to get to the next step? And that's a challenge for our commercial team.
We need to find some kind of basketball billionaire that really, really wants to try and get behind us. We need to find someone.
Ryan Reynolds.
Come on, surely. Well, OG Anunoby's just bought into the London Lions. We need to find a Welsh star to get to the NBA. That's what we need to. We need to kind of fish for someone like that. So we mentioned the BBL, WBBL. Of course, WBBL. We have the Archers here at Kincoy campus. Do you think that there's any possibility of a Welsh BBL team in the coming years?
I'd like to think so. I mean, we want to. Our new chairman has said, "Look, dream big." We need to start thinking about basketball as being not a small minority sport in Wales. Based on the Sport Wales School Sports Survey, you know, the data is showing us that basketball has this huge potential to grow.
Absolutely.
So I think we do need to dream big, and we do need to be ambitious in our thinking. So I'm sure when the strategy is released, whenever it gets done, hopefully in a few months' time,
Yeah.
in there will be at the end of the 5-year plan. You know, there'll be either the start or a BBL team will be sort of based in Wales. You know, the BBL for years have always sort of said that they want to have a truly British league.
Yeah.
So having a men's team in Wales, in Cardiff, would be an amazing thing.
And would the odds be the favourite that it would again be the Archers here, or would we try to diversify and move away from just having an Archers, men's and women's?
Who knows, really? I mean, that's we do have a working group that's currently looking into the viability of a BBL franchise in Wales. Obviously, the new investment team that have come into the BBL, I think 777. They've obviously got plans. They've obviously got ambitions to grow the league. So we just need to sort of keep working with them, keep touching base to make sure that, you know, we keep letting them know that, you know, Wales needs and wants a pro men's team.
Absolutely, because Caledonia is doing massive things, both with their men's and women's team. Obviously, Northern Ireland hasn't got one either yet, so it's just we need to get the top and Wales in that league. It would be such a great thing to see Sky Sports now, a team in Cardiff. It would be amazing.
You know what? I think the Welsh basketball community would get around that. You know, years ago it was done with like Cardiff Heat and Cardiff Phoenix.
Oh yeah.
You know, they were playing at the top level at that time. It was the Carlsberg League. You know, they were playing at the Sophia Gardens in the Welsh Institute of Sport, and they were getting good crowds in, really good elite level basketball. So I'm sure we can do it. The ice hockey manage it well.
Yeah, the Devils do great stuff, and I think it's those events like that and having it broadcast really well. That's what drives younger fans, because they can see that and be like, I want to be there. And it's having that inspiration, that kind of role model that I think we've been lacking in the past few years. And it's great that the Archers are doing it, but we need to get a men's team doing it as well.
Yeah, what Cardiff Archers do here with the women's program is amazing. And obviously, don't forget they've got a wheelchair in the WPL, and they do have a men's program that competes in
they've done very well this year. They've done very well. They've won in the NBL, they've won in the Bucks, they've won the Basketball Wales National League. It's been a great season.
Yeah, so to complement these clubs and all the other clubs in Wales that are developing young talent from an age of sort of 8 upwards, you know, having that pinnacle of a pro franchise, you say, well, you know, I want to play in that. And compete.
It's that term that people don't like of elite sport or whatever, but there is a thing of that elite team that people can look up to, and also people want to beat that team then, and then it drives competition. So, moving on to national teams, obviously we've just had 4 Nations, which was fantastic for the under-18s boys. It was a great tournament, and then there was the under-14s, 16s and 12s all around as well in Dublin and whatnot. So it looks like there's a real pathway towards the senior team. Do you think we're going to one day see Commonwealth, Olympic stuff where it's Wales competing rather than just GB?
No, because now Wales comes under the British Basketball Federation. You know, we are now one of 3 with England, Scotland, and ourselves as Wales. So you know, our goal, our pathway for our players will be obviously the Commonwealth Games for probably 3-on-3. I can see it going and staying as 3-on-3 with the Commonwealth Games. So obviously the next Commonwealth Games coming up, there's a question there about, you know, how do we qualify for that, and we are asking those questions. We're working with the relevant people to try and get those questions answered. So if there's an opportunity to qualify, Wales will want to be having a go at putting a women's team there for sure. The 4 Nations competition, as you said, has been a success. I think you know, Cardiff and Basketball Wales and Cardiff Met put on a great show last year. We've exceeded that again, I think, this year with the amount of fans that were in there watching.
The crowd was unbelievable. The atmosphere was awesome. It was such a great event.
Our fans, our parents do an amazing job of bringing an atmosphere. They bring the drums, they bring the vuvuzelas out. And
all the Irish fans who came down as well, they had a great support.
It was good. So, you know, these are things where, as young players in Wales, we want the opportunity to put on a Welsh vest, represent the country with pride. But then the next step from there then will be to try and compete and get into the GB squad, which will then give you the opportunity for Eurobasket, Olympics, if that team can qualify. So
that would be unbelievable. And we do already have a lot of Welsh representatives in Team GB. Obviously, we just saw Azib Smalley gone in as the under-16s coach.
Yeah.
There's people from media, officials, coaches, everyone in Team GB now representing Wales.
Yes, it's amazing. You know, for a small country with a relatively small basketball population, background, we do amazing well. We've got talented people that are now starting to come to the top of British basketball. Jamie Thomas with the comms, brilliant stuff. We've got Adam just getting in now. We've also got our performance manager, Phil Gordos.
Of course.
So obviously he looks after our performance within Wales. Doing an amazing job and is really starting to get into that now in his first year. He also sits on the performance committee within GB, so he works with his counterpart in England, Scotland, and within British basketball. So we've got people at various levels doing amazing things, representing Wales.
Absolutely.
So the next thing is to keep the steady flow of players coming through to complement your Izzy Bunyans, Karis Roys, Emily Stradlin, who's been there before.
It's interesting. So it sounds like an awful lot of things are kind of just coming out of that foundational stage. We're looking for the big explosion of growth. But if there's people at home maybe watching this, or people who've been watching the Four Nations and they want to get involved, what's the best place for them to go to if they're going to find that information? Is there a specific page where they can find all the clubs, all the activities?
I mean, the social media is obviously a key thing. You know, Basketball Wales is all over Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Obviously our social media is a good way to keep involved, especially with what's coming up and what's going on. Our website, basketball.wales, is another good opportunity to go on to find your local clubs, but most of the clubs are very active as well.
Yeah.
So they've got websites, they've got their own social media pages. So just type in where can I play basketball in Wales, and I'm sure you'll easily find something on Google.
Absolutely, and if you're not looking for a club per se, we have small waters, of course. That is the perfect thing for if you're someone who just wants to try it. Maybe because I think, would you say basketball's a difficult thing to pick up?
No, I think when you put a ball into a young player's hand, they want to bounce into there. That's the natural thing to bounce basketball. So I think, and what we find is, I think, I get a lot of underage coming through my club, even 6-year-olds coming through.
Right.
Once they start, they sort of get hooked on it. It's a bug, isn't it? It's a bug that they say, really get involved, and then once the parents then have a taste of their first festival where we bring 3 or 4 teams together, they're like, oh, this is amazing. There's lots of baskets being scored. It's not a 0-0 draw.
Something happens every 24 seconds.
100%, yeah. Something goes on. Yeah, whether it's a defensive block, a steal, their son or daughter scoring their first basket.
Absolutely.
It's indoors.
It's
safe from the rain. It's safe from the rain. Whereas a lot of our parents come to us and say, oh, this is a bit better than going out on a wet Sunday morning with rugby. So
absolutely,
it lends itself to sort of being a sport. Once you've been sort of enticed into it, the retention rate is pretty good.
Absolutely. That was the thing that I always found quite difficult. It's such a technical game. People talk about it as almost like an art or a dance. The thing that I always found difficult when I was first trying to play basketball was I used to get frustrated when things wouldn't go my way. I used to play rugby. That used to be a good thing. I get frustrated, get angry, and I drive at someone. But when you get angry playing basketball, you lose all control. You have to stay calm. I think that's a really difficult thing to learn. It's all about technique.
Yeah, technique, same with any sport. You learn those techniques, you learn the skills, you practice them. So those things come through. But it's not a sport that you can like rugby where you can just put your head down and start. I wouldn't recommend that. Even me as a referee that likes to let the game flow would be like, you can't do that, I'm afraid.
No, absolutely not. No. But obviously, so basketball seems to be just growing and growing and growing every year, and we are looking for commercial partners, like you were saying. So what are the areas that, if anyone's looking and saying, right, I really want to support basketball, or basketball's been good to me, how do I give back to basketball? What are the ways that they can look at to go, I can do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's lots. I think I keep getting told by Kate, who looks after the commercial side of the sport, there are so many aspects to the basketball lends itself to sort of companies, businesses in
like
terms
dynamic
of
flooring.
Dynamic flooring, they're amazing. They do great to us. We work with iPro. iPro are brilliant. They keep our players hydrated. In fact, I've got my
for that
shameless sponsorship. So the partners that we do work with, we're very appreciative of. But we do need more. as a sport, in order to grow, we need to keep bringing in sort of commercial revenue.
Of course.
We don't want to be reliant on government funding.
No, of course.
So we've got our national team program from under 13 boys and girls all the way through to our senior squads.
Mm-hmm.
There's advertising space on all the kits, all the jerseys.
Absolutely.
Junior NBA is a program that
that's going to draw eyeballs, isn't it?
It does for sure. And also we're allowed one big commercial partner to partner that. So again, Smaller Ballers is another great initiative. Our schools tournaments. Yeah, it just lends itself as a sport,
Yeah, of course.
And in terms of the reach of the sport, the people that play it, boys, girls, different sort of ethnic backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
We cover a huge, diverse range of people
It's
throughout
a
our
massive
communities.
demographic, isn't it?
Yeah,
And on social media and things, if you're talking about coverage and eyeballs, there is no sport that tracks like basketball on social media. I think the NBA was the most watched social media account on Instagram last year. It's the number one type of content on TikTok. YouTube, there's more highlights of basketball than any other sport. It's crazy how much coverage we can get into this. So if we can just get more and more and more every year, it seems like there's an endless supply of people who want to watch basketball.
Yeah, and like I say, if you've got those people that are liking, subscribing and sharing, that's a good thing for us then to commercial. Yes, if you watch this on YouTube, I think we're about 150 more subscribers away from our 1,000 target.
Yeah, we've got to get there.
Yeah, let's get those 150. So yeah, it's very important. Commercial partners, people to get involved with us. And if you do want to get involved, and if you're out there thinking, hey, you know what, I'd like to give something back to perhaps the sport that they have played before. Just get in touch through the website. Email Kate, who's our commercial guru. She will be brilliant, and she will point you in the right direction.
Absolutely, and it's a bit of a weird thing sometimes when people talk about these kind of things, because you don't want to get dubbed down in the financial kind of aspects and stuff. But it's the truth of the matter is you need funding for these sports to grow.
Yeah, for sure. The ambitions we've got as a board of directors to grow the game. Yes, it like anything.
Yeah.
If you haven't got the funds, you're restricted what you can do. We want to keep hosting the Four Nations. Every year we want to keep adding. It takes a lot of money to do it, and we've sort of created a bit of a monster the last 4 or 5 years in terms of what we've done, what we've done. In order to keep that going, it needs to be funded. So it's very important.
Absolutely. Well, Gav, thank you ever so much for coming and sitting down with me today. This has been another fantastic episode here of the Pod Pale Vasquez. If you want any more content, you can just head to the YouTube channel, the Instagrams. There's so much out there for you to watch. Make sure to check in with this page once again. We're going to have another podcast for you in the next 2 weeks. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and drive home safely, Gav.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, man.
Thanks all.